more dialogue, more conversations, and we can get the ball rolling.
What are the topics that are being kind of...
Well, our number one, the ones that we're really holding firm on, rev share and salary.
Is that what they're kind of not receiving as well, like the rev share thing?
Yeah, it's a huge topic. I mean, that is where the money is, and so of course both sides are going to fight for that.
I know a lockout or a work stoppage is not ideal, but are you guys as a collective already having those conversations of if this were to happen, here's how it would look, here's what we would be ready for, etc.?
Yeah, I think just preparing, like, of course, we don't want that, but you have to be prepared. So making sure that you have money squared away, making sure that people are really engaged, because, again, we don't want that. So making sure people are, the more participation we have in our polls and our meetings, the faster we can get through these negotiations. So I think just preparing in all areas you have to be prepared for every outcome. I don't know. Yeah.
There's not one.
There's not one on, I don't think there's one on the books. You might need to ask NECA, but I don't know when the next in-person one is. Yeah.
You said you're standing firm. Like, what's the gap right now with the rev share and the salary issues? Like, how big is that gap? And can you just talk about, like, whatever detail you can?
Yeah, I can't get into numbers or details, but I do think there's, like, a way to go. Yeah.
Can you say more? Like, what is that? Like, what was your reaction to the proposal that's on the table right now? And what's their reaction to yours? And
Yeah.
Can you just say a little more?
Yeah, we were disappointed for sure in what they came back with. It was just nowhere near what we asked for, or even in the same conversation. Like, we asked for something, they came back with something totally different. So like I said, I mean, this is where the money's at, so both sides are going to fight really hard for it. And so we just have to make them know that we're not backing down on this point.
When you say you guys aren't budging on certain topics or anything, that's been clearly communicated to them, so you will not budge on this.
Yeah, that was what we had first sent them even back in February. Like, these are our two main points. And so just to prepare them for that, get that in their mind. And so we've been really clear from that from the beginning. Really important. For one, they're the future of the sport. You have people from all levels on the player committee, people who play for a long time who are on their way out, people who are, in their prime right now, and we need the up-and-comers to be invested because the CBA is going to affect them the most. It's setting them up for their next one, just like the last one set us up for this one. And so knowing your history is really important. This obviously affects them. They're young in their career, so this is going to be the salary that they're on for a while. So that's really important. And then, like you said, just their names carry a lot of weight. Feels like each rookie class that comes in has more and more followers, brings more and more eyes to the game, and carries more and more weight. And so that's important, of course, to the league as well. So them knowing that we have those young players invested is important as well.
How important is it the fact that we're hearing about team evaluations, we're hearing about these expansion teams and the fees that teams are having to pay to get into the league? How much of that is a point for you guys?
I don't know. That's a NECA question. I want to defer to NECA.
Two quick fun ones. Who would you say is the best dressed team?
Best dressed? I really love Cam Brink's style. I love her personal style.
And then do you know what a Hoosier is?
Yeah. A Hoosier? Like a country Hoosier?
Like the Hoosier from Indiana?
No.
Just anyone from Indiana.
Oh, yeah, like Hoosier. Like you're from the country?
Yeah.
Like a Hoosier? Yeah.
That's all I got.
Yeah.
Significance of that does understand how much fun you guys are, that they're not going to be able to pick you guys off basically.
Basically, I hope it just expedites the process. So we're not going back and forth where they're trying to test us and see who flinches first, because we're not going to. So hopefully, at the end of the day, we are always going to stand firm. Hopefully, they just realize that earlier so that we're not wasting time, over things that we're not moving on.
How do you bridge the gap and make sure that the players who don't have as many diverse income streams also feel like they're financially protected?
Preparing people early, just again, preparing for all outcomes, just knowing that you need to be putting some money away, more than you normally would for saving, just in case something happens. And so, it's hard because, of course, especially for the players that don't make as much, you need the salary. But I think everyone understands that at the end of the day, this will get us more money in the end. You just have to hold strong, and I think everyone's doing a really great job of that.
Jana said that she feels the league wants to kind of push out alternative leagues.
how do you go about that topic and that side of these negotiations?
Yeah, I think that's just really harmful to the sport because not just Unrivaled, but AU overseas, all of those salaries have gone up. Like they're having record numbers, paying players record amount, and that affects all players. Like Unrivaled has a certain percentage, AU does overseas. That affects the entire scope of, the off-season players. And so not only that, but for development, for a lot of reasons, I think it's really important, especially if our salaries, like you can't have exclusivity without paying for it. We have to be able to make money in the off season.
Has anyone
I know people always say that. I feel like I'm the same. Of course, I try to get better, but I think there's just more eyes now. Like, I think my game has been pretty consistent for a while. Yeah. I think that is just like a mindset change, just knowing, especially after Sil retired, knowing that the team was being passed to me in a way that they had kind of primed me for that leadership. That just brings a different mindset where you have to be more aggressive. So I think the mentality in that way has changed a lot. I loved volleyball. I would have picked volleyball, yeah.
I think you would have been an all-star.
I don't know. I thought I was pretty good, but I played in high school. So who knows?
Has anyone in the league or the ownership frustration to you about Unrivaled?
No, they've been really supportive. And I think, the narrative of conflict of interest. I don't understand it because, one, we're not in competing seasons, and I feel like we both just help the other so much. Like, the W success is Unrivaled success, and vice versa. We are keeping players relevant throughout the entire season. Plus, we're paying players more, which is the goal of both leagues. And so I never really understood that stance, especially Stewie and I. From the player perspective, I feel like it gives us an advantage. We know what it takes to run a business. We know where money should be going. We know what brands are paying. And so we have that unique experience of we can fight harder for the players because we know what we're talking about.
Is that part of the reason that the CBA also wants involvement in the next media rights deal?
The PA wants involvement in the next media rights deal?
Yeah, I think I saw that report.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, sorry.
First part, I wanted to see how did you together and put it together?
I would say it was good that the league saw how many players were there. I think someone said over 40 plus. We were supposed to have 20 plus, but it ended up being that many. Just see how serious we are on things, that we're not budging, how even our young players, we had a lot of rookies in there too, are taking this. And so I thought it was a great front for us to put on, like a good face for us to put on.
There were some comments that you guys maybe don't understand like the business side of things as much. We're just talking about running your business. What's your kind of response to we don't know anything about business?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just super undervaluing. Even apart from Stu and I, who have been a part of that, we have incredibly intelligent people here. I think we're smart enough to understand the business. I think we're smart enough to understand that 2 + 2 is not equaling 4 when it comes to the money that's going in, how it's being dispersed with players. And so I feel like that is really insulting. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say.
Is that the most WNBA players you've been in the room with?
For a negotiation like this, yes.
Just in general, have you ever been in a room?
In the bubble, we had all of them, yeah.
Some of the younger players. Oh, did you have
I was gonna
some of the younger players expressed that I feel like yesterday was very eye-opening for them. They want to get more involved. I know it's very early, but have you seen them be a little bit more engaged and ask more questions?
I mean, it only happened yesterday, so not really in that way. I mean, after the meeting, they were talking a lot, asking questions. So yeah, I did see engagement after that, but we all dispersed pretty quickly. It was like kind of a whirlwind this weekend. But hopefully that, comes to fruition in the meetings that we're having and the participation that we have for all of our stuff.
Kiki also mentioned that for the 2024 draft, you guys actually got together with that rookie class and had a conversation with them. Are you guys? Is that something you always do, or is it a matter of sort of being intentional about trying to get them up to speed and really involved?
I wasn't there for the draft, but they did that during my draft, so I'm assuming that they have done that every year since. The PA does a good job of kind of bringing in the new class right away, so hopefully that has been carried on. I think it has been. I just haven't been there.
You were the first, heading down to the first player to wear the Jordan going up the court. How cool was that to be viewing Jordan shoes? Do you think that was
No, the thought never crossed my mind. It was amazing, especially the shoe. It was like a culmination of all the shoes. They had little pieces from all the different shoes throughout the years in that. And so, of course, to be the first to do anything, especially with Jordan, such an iconic brand, such an iconic player, I was really honored to do that.